If I were to ask you a question, what do humans really need to survive? What answer would you give? Some of you might think, oh, hey, it's a simple question. We're asked this in elementary school. And the answer, food, shelter, right? But some of you might be having second thoughts and think, hey, this sounds like a trick question. To which it absolutely is. It is a trick question. Because the answer I'm going to give here is that there's a hidden element inside the answer of which every human needs in their life. And that is stress. Yes, stress. The thing that we try so hard to get rid of in our life, the thing that we always try to avoid, is a hidden element that's essential, vital even, in how we pursue changing us and improving ourselves. And I'm here to tell you that there's more to this word than the negative connotation that is associated with it. That stress is what we really need in our lives. Picture this, a very common scenario. You, in front of you, at dead of night, is a pile of homework or some assignment you need to be done by tomorrow. The deadline is tonight, and you've been holding it off for weeks until now to do it. Theoretically, it is possible to finish this in one night by working nonstop for 8 hours, not getting a wink of sleep, and getting it done for tomorrow. However, some of you might have a very simple mindset in that it is, and there's really nothing you can do about it, which presents us to the two buttons, the two options, diverged paths which you can choose to how to solve this problem. The red button symbolizes working hard, being the modesty that you are. You log in for the night and persevere to the challenge, giving all you got to try to solve the problem to reach the deadline. Conversely, there's the blue option, of which I chose, and many of you may choose it, to embrace the warm embrace of your bed, being cozy and lazily fall asleep, just giving up with a mentality of it is what it is and there's nothing you can do. It is effectively running away from your problems and not looking back. So, what does these two options tell us about how we approach our problems? Well, this sets in motion the Yerkes Dodson law, of which this curve tells us the association between how much stress we receive and how we can deal with it, and how our performance works against or with the amount of stress that we gain. I like to split this graph into two categories: the stressful and the stress-free response. On the one hand, being stressful is obviously a bad thing, right? We're so used to being overstressed all the time. We feel exhausted, we're just burnt out, and we're just so filled with anxiety that we can't do anything. It is working yourself to the bone and chasing success that we see so much in workaholics around us that doesn't make you stronger, but only wears you down. And eventually, you lose the will to ever work at all. This demotivation and this negative spiral only causes us to lose ourselves and potentially harm ourselves not only mentally, but physically. Conversely, there's the stress free response. Contrary to popular belief, free isn't always good. Stress free here is only an example of a devastating lifestyle which only leads to our downfall. Because without no pressure, no challenge exerted on us, we lose the will to improve ourselves, to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. We stay stagnant and we are unable to escape the spiral downwards as well. Like a muscle that's never worked out, it'll eventually become weak. And a pair of legs that's never walked will never be able to run. I am always deeply reminded by a quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt that a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. What this quote means is that a smooth sailor, a smooth sea, will never make a good sailor due to the fact that given No strong winds, no storms, and no unpredictable situations. A sailor will never know how to adapt to these situations, and he remains stagnant, ignorant of his own surroundings, and not afraid until he crumbles and falls under the weight of the ocean. Similarly, we can take this lesson in our daily lives. Without enough appropriate levels of challenge, we can never learn to adapt ourselves to our surroundings. And if there is a correlation to be explained via an example between the amount of stress you receive and the amount of performance you gain working with or against it, I can give it through a very simple example of massages. Just hear me out, okay? Now, who here has ever been or taken a massage before? Can you please raise your hand? Great. All right, now I'm gonna need you to explain to me how does it work because I don't understand them. Logically speaking, how could applying stress by just squeezing and hitting a pained muscle helps to relieve it? It just doesn't make any sense. As a matter of fact, it should, if anything, creates more pain to those muscles. It shouldn't relieve stress at all. That's why I had to find out. I had to conduct my own research purpose by going to a massage parlor. And what I found out is that had you been to a bad parlor, had they been given you too little stress to apply little to no effect, it makes you discomfort, and you wish you wasted your time and money by going there. Alternatively, had they applied too much stress to the pain muscle, it's even more painful now, and you wish you've never been there in the first place. So there's clearly a disparity here between the amount of stress that you give and how much good. However, given the right technique, it's just the stress to feel something, but not too much causes discomfort. We can say that it's an elevating experience. This is a balance that lies between stressful and stress-free. There lies a straight, narrow path in which psychologists often use best. To put it in layman's terms, it is the optimum amount of stress that you can take to gain the most from experiencing it. Recall the last time you faced an impossible situation with nothing but yourself. Recall the last time you had to scrape for an answer in the last minute of an exam, trying to race in the last stretch of a race, trying to score the last point when the bell whistles, indicating the end of the game. The ecstasy that you gained, or the feeling you get when you persevere through those thoughts to achieve victory, to thrive under pressure, is achieved through eustress or optimum stress. And it can only be procured through an appropriate level of duress and challenge, the optimum amount. And as we look back, I'll like to state that I firmly believe that breakthroughs, achieving something through success through stress, can only be achieved somewhere between desperation and serenity. And that the end product of the amount of effort that we put in traversing through challenges and obstacles and roadblocks in life ultimately just hones the end product, which is the quality of yourself. Just like how pressures create diamonds, I believe that by applying an optimum amount of stress on you, you not only gain more from it, but also become a better version of yourself. And as we traverse the game of life, no matter how ridiculous the odds may seem, each of us resides in ourselves the perseverance to break through from our stressful constraints, to get through obstacles and roadblocks in our life. And as we look back at when that fateful night when we made that decision between the red or the blue option, we can see how far we've truly grown from that state. Thank you for listening to my TEDx.